I try to refer to my notes, but usually I do not. But I'm T. Michael O'Connor. I'm the U.S. Marshal for the Southern District of Texas. And we appreciate you coming today because this is a very important milestone of law and order. And I will tell you that you've heard the words to serve and to protect. Justice is coming. You're seeing it right behind me with the men and women that have participated in this operation. You know, being a sheriff is kind of like, being a marshal is like being a sheriff on steroids, because it's such a vastness in the importance of operations like this. You know, we went and we did a very successful operation all over the country with this Operation Triple Beam, and we were able to bring it here on multiple occasions to be able to suppress, pursue violent crimes, because that is the mainstay of being part of the Marshal Service. You know, pursuing the fugitives, the most violent fugitives, is our mainstay. But you got to remember, we always remember you can run, but you can't hide. And the fact that we have had the number of agencies, the Marshal Service could not do this without the collaboration and the partnership of all the agencies to which are representative. There's too many to mention right here, but you do have a press release that will go into the full statistics, and it will allow you we'll follow up with any questions that you might have. As you know, we got 4 speakers that are going to talk, so I'm not going to elaborate as much as I would like, but I think it's real important to hear from them more so than myself, and it is time for them to speak. So I'm going to allow them. I mean, I had a few words here about the agencies and appreciate everyone here. That's the extent that I'm going to go into. I'm not going to go into my 30-minute speech that I had prepared, because I never do anyway. But again, I cannot express enough to you and to the communities, because the communities helped us as well. You know, law enforcement can only do certain things, but if the people don't stand up, step up, and advise to us, some of the criminal activities within their areas were very limited to such. And we all know that there are no agency in existence that can do this solely and independently, not only because of resources, but personnel. But I've seen this successful in the Southern District as well as throughout the United States, that this collaboration, you know, has been successful only because of the participant and the willingness to make a difference in their communities. So I will leave it to our next speaker, and you're going to introduce him. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is going to be HPD Chief Bashir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Yasser Bashir, and I'm an Assistant Chief with the Houston Police Department. And currently, I'm over what's called Patrol Region 3 Command, which consists of the majority of the southwest part of Houston. Today, I want to start by thanking U.S. Marshal, Sheriff Fagan, DA Middleton, Fort Bend DA Middleton, and also our Harris County, Fort Bend, and all the various partners we have here. As you can see, I mean, there's just so many to name right now, but we do have a poster that kind of like gives their names, who they are. First, let me go explain. The U.S. Marshal, they oversee the Gulf Coast Violent Offender and Fugitive Task Force. This is where officers from different agencies, we all come together, where we partner with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies to investigate, locate, and apprehend suspect wanted for violent crime. This violent crime includes murders, robberies, sexual assaults, aggravated assaults, just to name a few. So this Operation Triple Beam, I'm very proud to be part of it. This is not the first time we're doing it. It's actually our 4th installment. And the 4th installment actually started from July 19th and September 24th, and ended September 24th. And some of you were here, the majority of us were also deputized. So what is the main function of this Operation Triple Beam? As you can see behind me, we are a force multiplier. And this is where our strength comes in, where we go after some of the most, as I mentioned, the most dangerous, violent criminals that cause havoc to our communities. In addition to that, we seek local and federal charges, and that's why we also have our district attorney, Fort Bend district attorney here with us, who will speak in a few minutes. One of the key focus of this operation was to focus on fugitives, and specifically those most violent gang members. And this is the gang members and who reside, majority of them southwest part of Houston, which includes Fort Bend. I keep saying Fort Bend because criminals, they don't know boundaries. That's something that we created, but they go back and forth. And the other thing they did was they also went after some of the fugitives that are wanted by law and which are hiding, and that's something very difficult, challenging for us to do, but nonetheless, we caught many of them. And as you know, the serving warrants is inherently very dangerous job to do, and this is where I commend every single person that's standing behind me for their courage and the strength to every day continue to do that. And as you know, recently, HPD, we lost one of our own who was serving a high-risk warrant, a felony warrant, and that's something, you know, that impacted us as well, not just the community. So as you can see to my left, let me highlight some of the key accomplishments that we collectively were able to do. We were able to arrest 471 the most dangerous individuals in our cities. 72 of them were known gang members. We recovered 95 weapons, which could have been used for further criminal activities such as homicides, shootings, you name it. We were able to recover 541 kilograms of narcotics, which could end up on our streets and also into our schools. Lastly, we also recovered over $421,000, and that money could have been used for further criminal activities. In addition to that, let me talk about some of the charges. So as I talked about fugitives, that we went after some of the fugitives, the most dangerous fugitives, 28 homicide suspects, 188 ag assaults, which includes your shooters, robbery suspects, and also on-view weapon offenses as well as narcotics. So how does our community benefit from what we were able to accomplish? Well, first and foremost, I think it has to do with the trust from the community that we are here and we're going to continue to serve them. And as long as we carry this badge, we're not going to let any shortcomings or anything that comes our way to slow us down. We're going to keep moving forward and keep protecting our community. And also, it makes our community safer that we are engaged, and that's something we'll continue to do. And the biggest thing is reduce victimization and the trauma experienced by those victims that could carry on for days, even up to years. And I will conclude by, I'm really proud of every single person here. We are a team. It's not about one person, but it's about all of us coming together and continue to serve and protect our community and solve crimes as well. And now I will yield to DA Middleton. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bashir. I'm standing here, and this is impressive to see all these fine men and women who work hard every day to keep our community safe. Lately, we've seen a surge in crime, and I know a lot of our viewers are probably afraid. But what we want you to know, and I want the Fort Bend County residents to see what's happening. Criminals have been busy, but we've been busy too. Law enforcement does not sleep. And what you're seeing from this operation is us fighting back. For the criminals out there watching this, take a look, and I hope this camera pans out to see all these men and women. We're coming for you. Just as the marshal says, justice is coming. But what you should know is that when we get a hold of you, we're going to get a hold of you like a pit bull, and we're not going to let go. Enough is enough. So pay attention. We're coming for you. Justice is coming. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eric Fagan. I'm the Fort Bend County Sheriff. I first want to thank the U.S. Marshal for his help and all the agencies that help us. I particularly want to say thank you to a Constable, Nabil Shaikh, Precinct 4, who also helped with this investigation. Look, we took over 100 violent criminals off the streets right in Fort Bend County. What I want to repeat what Brian Middleton, our DA, said, Chief Pursuer and the Marshal, to let these gangs know that we're coming for you. We're out there. We're not asleep. This operation gave people their lives back, that you can feel more safer now. The ones that should be in fear now are the violent fugitives and the gang members, because jointly together, we're more stronger together than separate. So we're collaborating with all agencies, especially with the Marshal's office that gives us the funding to do this. The Marshal, he's kind of not taking all the credit that he should be taking, because it's by his funding that we brought all these agencies together. It was him coming to us to ask us to join in together to do this, to take these criminals off the street. So Fort Bend County, you are a lot safer now. Houston, you are a lot safer now. The state of Texas is a lot safer now because of this operation. So I want to say to everyone, God bless, stay safe, and work with us against the gangs. Thank you.
Marshall, you want to finish up?
Another aspect is, please express to the communities out there, we need your help. It is very, very important to get involved in information that you may have, to present it to your local jurisdictions and be the eyes and ears of our communities, because we'll carry forward for you, but we need to have you a part of it. Thank you, and I appreciate everyone here and joining, and we'll take some questions at this time.
So how long was
Is silence golden?
maybe you can just explain how long was this initiative? What
They vary from 60 to 90 days. This, I believe, was a 2 to 3 week,
10 weeks.
10-week operation.
60 days.
and did you guys do
60 days, as I said, 60 to 90 days.
and it was a collective effort, so how did you guys all come together in this operation?
Well, first we come in together and we had some previous meeting to consider what would be the best way for operations. And then from there, we met a couple more times, and then we designated various areas on reliance of the local jurisdictions, the sheriff, the police department, and others, as to where they thought would be a very targeted area. Then they provided us a list of fugitives of violent nature that they have outstanding warrants, you know, with the district attorney and those. And then we took groups and teams together, and they would go out and start pursuing these individuals wherever the metropolitan area that we were focusing on. So it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of logistics, and it takes a lot of communications, because you had a significant number of law enforcement officers at all levels. And let me put a lot of emphasis. Your local, your state, and your federal agency. That is a massive endeavor, and it takes a lot of logistics. And because of the leadership of these agencies, they've been there, they've done this, they know how to do it, and their expectations is nothing but success. Yes, ma'am.
Were all these arrests the result of fugitives and warrants, or were any of them linked to, organic investigations or new investigations?
Well, you always run into something that leads you to something else. The majority were all based on outstanding warrants. That's the specific initiative. But sometimes we come across individuals that have outstanding warrants in other states. So I call that a trifecta if there's more than one aspect that we're pursuing. And yes, you do run into those secondary aspects. But primarily, we're pursuing the communities and the fugitives and the warrants outstanding with those fugitives, which some of them would lead us to other states, and we pursue them as well. And that's what enables us as a U.S. Marshal and the Marshal Service. As a Marshal, commissions everybody in these initiatives. It gives them that expanse authority. And of course, the marshals nationwide, we can call upon them if those various warrants lead us to other jurisdictions outside the metropolitan area.
So-
Okay, so your question, or is that, are you still finding out?
No, I found out your answer. Marshall, he wanted to know, or actually Channel 11 wants to know about a fugitive out of the Tampa for a murder. But since it's a Tampa case, we're gonna have to contact them because we don't wanna say anything that may jeopardize the case. They may not even know that he's in custody yet. All right?
You just gave it away. All human, but all due respects, those various, it would be the same here if another jurisdiction had apprehended and saw an outstanding warrant. They're going to call those jurisdictions. And a lot of times that's what we refer to as we need to make contact with them to let them know if, in fact, we have someone under custody.
So if you guys wanna do individual, like, we have representatives from all the other agencies as well, if you wanna, maybe after this.
Or if you have any questions, please ask upon them the questions.
There'll be collective, like, further, operations like this going forward, or is this the first time that this has happened?
No, ma'am, it's, as the chief mentioned earlier, and Sheriff, we have done this on other occasions. We like to be predictably unpredictable, so we're not going to tell you when we're back, but we're always out there. And as they referred, justice is coming, and we mean what we say. So it will be a continuum of operations. As long as they ask, you know, we're not an agency that we can take primary and go in and investigate and take on some of these. So we have to yield to them for them to ask us and be a part of it. But then once that happens collectively, we will do our best.
And we're asking.
Please ask them questions.
Are you guys working with the court system to maybe expedite some of these cases so these don't post bond or be eligible for bond? I mean, you do
Come
all
on
this
up,
work.
sir.
You do all this work and then they just post bond and they're back.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Yeah, I know a lot, you know, there's a lot of rumors out there about what happens in the court system. I can speak for Fort Bend County. I cannot speak for Harris County. But in Fort Bend County, yes, we're being vigilant. We have prosecutors standing here now who are working in concert with law enforcement to make sure these people are brought to justice as quickly as possible. Some of these people will not be eligible for bonds. Persons who have maybe violated the conditions of their probation or violated their bond restrictions. But yeah, in Fort Bend County, we try to keep the citizens safe, and so we always request an appropriate bond for violent offenders.
So I bet you all have a question for the sheriff.
Don't have to.
I was kidding with him earlier and told him, I said, okay, if you don't say anything, I'm going to volunteer you.
Maybe you can, explain to these two high-profile cases, how you guys arrested them and the narcotics they seized, it looks like, from these pictures. Do you know anything about those?
We could do that. We could do that.
Yeah, afterwards would probably be,
We don't have to.
because then we'll concentrate on the specific agency that was a part to that, so we'll be happy to do that. Nothing further? All right, see, you got away with it, you two. Thank y'all very much. I mean, one thing about law enforcement and cops, we have to have probably a unique sense of humor, because, you know, every circumstance, every day, as I mentioned with HPD, our hearts are saddened because of a loss of a warrior. And so sometimes in mixed of things, we try to have a little bit of sense of humor. And so don't take me wrong of the severity of this, because we do see the severity and the importance of public service to serve and to protect. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Did you guys want to